Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Adolf, and welcome to what I think is new and wonderful in Safe 6.0. Just before we move on here, I just want to state a couple of things. First of all, any views I express in this video represent mine alone and not that of my employer, C Prime. And in addition to that, just because I'm an SPCT does not mean I speak for Scaled Agile Incorporated. In fact, what this video is about is really to say, what do I find personally exciting about 6.0? Of course, now you've probably heard the buzz about Safe 6.0, and if you go to the website, the Scaled Agile Framework, you can see right here what's new in Safe 6.0. The wonderful article here and the 6 major themes that are primary themes for Safe 6.0, from strengthening the foundation, empowering teams, accelerating value flow, enhanced business agility, building the future with AI, big data and cloud, and delivering better outcomes with OKRs. All wonderful things. But what I think we should talk a little bit about is some of the things that I think will have significant influence over the way that you use Safe in your organization, and really some of the stuff that might have just flown a little bit under the radar here. So one of the first things that I might want to just call out that people may not have noticed right away is if you scroll right down to the bottom of this article here, and you should read this article, lots of good stuff here, but you get down to here, and the terminology has been changed. One of the biggest changes, outside of just making a little bit more standardized, is the removal of the word program. So the last vestiges of program have been removed from Safe. For example, it's no longer a program backlog, but it's an art backlog. Our PIs are now planning increments rather than program increments. As an SPC, you are a Safe practitioner, practice consultant, not a Safe program consultant. So there is that's a really great change. I also think from the point of view that, if you are going through one of the Safe certification courses now, and when you do the exam and you see an option that has the word project or a program in it, you immediately know it's a red herring. So I think this is one of the significant changes, but let's look at what I'm thinking is maybe flying under the radar a little bit. One of the changes I like a lot is, look here, the Scrum Master, but also the term team coach. So outside of just that some people have difficulty with the word master or are uncomfortable using that term, I think that using the word team coach is actually much better for that role because it is describing what the role is. I've worked at far too many clients now where the Scrum Master is seen as an administrator, or some kind of new fangled project manager directing the team. I really like the idea that we are now explicitly calling out that the role is a team coach. How do we make this team awesome? This person has the responsibility of helping this team learn and grow. I also think using the term team coach to describe the role also helps us in another way. An agile team in Safe can use both Kanban or Scrum. Now, of course, saying Scrum Master with Scrum makes, people don't have a problem. Saying, okay, we have a team coach in Scrum, easy to deal with. Where a lot of people sort of got twisted around was when we said, oh yes, there's an Agile team with a Scrum Master, but we're using Kanban to manage our work. And of course, you'd get there's no Scrum Master in Kanban, well, Kanban doesn't really describe a lot of roles in the first place, but there's still a team coach. Regardless, you have a team, you have a coach. Because somebody has to be there to help the team really grow as a team. So I think that's a really great change right there. Now getting on to what I would think are some of the more substantive changes in Scaled Agile is this is one here that was long overdue. Notice here, continuous learning culture is now part of the foundation bar, on par with lean agile leadership. I have always said that all of these practices up here that we call the scaled agile framework, all of the roles, all of the practices, all of the artifacts are really guidance for how to realize the principles that are in the foundation bar here. And of course, if you remember in say 5 and earlier, lean agile leadership was always part of the foundation bar. What was missing and what seemed really out of place, of course, was continuous learning culture. Continuous learning culture was always seen to be this competency that you needed for business agility that was kind of like this bag on the side. We really didn't know where to fit it. This is where it really belongs, because this is really suggesting that continuous learning is part of business agility. Just because you started adopting agile practices doesn't mean the learning stops. There is no there. And we're going to come back to that theme again and again as we look at what I think is important. So for me, putting the continuous learning culture as part of this foundation here is really critical, because it is saying, really, to realize business agility, it really does fall to having a lean agile leadership and developing that continuous learning culture. If we truly regard agility, business agility, as our ability to sense and respond to change faster than our competitors so that we can gain economic advantage. Not only does that mean, yes, having the ability to sense and respond to what new solutions we want to bring to the marketplace, but also being able to sense and respond to how do we change our ways of working. So this is really awesome, having this here. So that now takes us into some of the other parts of the changes here. Let's go to the lead agile mindset. Now, of course, we still make reference to the Agile Manifesto, but what has really changed here is the presentation of lean thinking. This to me is a really great change, because the House of Lean has been removed, and we get to the original core principles of lean thinking, right? Looking at a value stream, being able to precisely specify value by product, identify the value stream for each product, make value flow without interruptions, let the customer pull value from the producer, and pursue perfection, right? These are the 5 core principles of lean thinking. Now, to be honest, I am really going to miss the House of Lean. Because if I go back to the House of Lean, it was a wonderful teaching tool when we were delivering, for example, Leading Safe or any of the SAFE courses, because it also exemplified that the intent or the goal of Lean was to deliver value. As Taiki Ono said, to reduce the time that it took from order to delivery. And that it was all, the foundation was leadership, and then these were the practices or ideas that enabled that. I thought this was such a wonderful graphic. And if you recall a little bit of the history behind this graphic, the original House of Lean was sketched out by Taiki Ono. When somebody asked him, well, what's this lean thing? And can you explain it to me, the benefit? And he drew this House of Lean. So I think it is a little bit unfortunate that we kind of lost that, but we can still reference that. But overall, I think it is makes it a lot easier to explain flow, to explain the practices in the Scaled Agile framework in 6.0. So I consider that a fair trade-off. Going back to my view about continuous learning culture here, and the really great that we now have the competency on the foundation bar. There's been a change to the core values, and what I really like here is highlighting relentless improvement. This ties in very much, in my personal view, to bringing the continuous learning culture into its rightful place on that foundation bar. That we are that there is when we are starting to adopt SAFE, SAFE is about that continuous learning journey to relentlessly improve our way of working. Another quote from Taiki Ono is, is to paraphrase him, he said, the worst problem is not to perceive that you have any problems. So we always have to be looking at, that we're not trying to become perfect textbook SAFE implementations. Remember, SAFE is a means for us to achieve business agility. Our goal is to achieve business agility. The foundation here gives us the lean agile mindset, core values, the principles on which this is based. These practices are tools for enabling us to achieve that. But as we learn and understand our context, we're going to change. As I like to say, Dean Leffingwell is not going to come to your site and give you a gold star because you're a perfect textbook implementation of SAFE. Rather, what you might get kudos for is saying, hey, how we use SAFE to improve business agility, and then we got on to a cycle of continuous learning and relentless improvement to reduce our lead times and to be able to deliver greater value to our customers. That will deserve a gold star. So one of the last things I just sort of want to show off here too is the implementation roadmap. Now there are some minor changes here. One, and this is probably what I would say for myself, this is something that I think was kind of missed. If there was one thing that I think was missed in 6.0, is we are definitely going through Accelerate. I mean, I love there's some cleanup here. For example, we used to say extend the portfolio. No, I love it. It says clearly enhance the portfolio. Potentially, in my personal view, what was amiss, and this again ties back to continuous learning, relentless improvement, is we didn't really indicate, and the journey continues on. I would have loved to have seen something here that said, and the journey never stops. Because just as Taiki Ono said, the worst problem is not to have a problem, not to perceive that you don't have a problem, that there's no opportunity for you to improve. So I think this is something that we always want to look. SAFE is going to be an awesome way to get started on our roadmap here for enterprise agility. But it never stops, and we will always be improving and inspecting and adapting and relentlessly improving how we change our ways of work. So that's just my sort of brief overview, some of the cool things that I think are in SAFE that may be flying a little bit under the radar. When you go to asking what's new in SAFE and the six major themes. I think realistically that now in SAFE there is a greater emphasis on learning and relentless improvement, and I think that is going to be a significant in the evolution and the journey of SAFE. My name is Steve Adolf, and thank you.